You know Mr. Ruben Vardanyan in various capacities. He's a philanthropist, he's a businessman, Armenia-born, lived in Moscow, became a businessman in Moscow, established First Investment Bank, First Business School. He's also very unusual. He's unusual in many ways. He's unusual particularly in the fact that he began to plan and think about transition in a strategic way before the rest of us were, before the government was perhaps. And in that context, in the context of Armenia 2020, they began to ask the questions that transitologists, that observers of the transition, that people living in the transition were asking in far less structured, methodological, rigorous ways, and that is, what are we transitioning to? Who do we want to become? So from the context of Armenia 20 to today's IDEA Foundation, which is basically his family foundation that has expanded to friends and other investors, donors who believe that development is an important path for Armenia. So between planning for a transition and today, in fact, in some ways, and this is my interpretation, in some ways actually implementing that transition. So in all of those contexts, we're very grateful that he's here to share with us his thoughts about what came first, what comes next. Mr. Vardanyan, Hamitsek, thank you very much.
Thank you, Salpi, for so kind words, and I'm sorry again missing yesterday, but I'm sure it was very thoughtful discussions. Like Salpi said, we are doing some very unusual exercise already the last 15 years. I couldn't imagine it was done in 2001 with Nubar Afeyan. We met in Harvard and said, okay, let's organize discussion about future of Armenia in 20 years ahead. And it was not easy time. Armenia was just coming up after the tough 90s. And we said, let's look, can we do it or not? I said, we have a dual result. One, it was very successful from point of the bringing different Armenian from the different perspectives and sitting together and talking about future of Armenia. It was amazing, good group of people with very different views. And we got very interesting results. We got 18 research with Michael Porter, about McKinsey, Armenian researcher about corruption, about foreigners in Armenia. We got tons of materials. I said, great, this is now. And we got very interesting 4 scenarios, which today, you can read it, by the way, we published recently, where Armenia can go. In 2004, we finished this first part, we have all these debates, discussions, and said, okay, now let's open it for discussion. And this was our biggest failure. I'll be very frank, what's happened, we provide this information for government officials, for opposition, for diaspora, for young people, no reaction. We thought we will kill us. We thought they will criticize us, will say, you're wrong, it's not the right approach, not the right methodology. We said everything was fine. We expected anything can become, but we didn't expect it would be ignorance. The way how project was killed by basically silence. And not only from government, but official and opposition was the same. And diaspora, and young people didn't read it. I remember when I found, this is the end of my story, when I met the graduates of the top American business school and British business school kids, which was really big. We were very proud. 30 people came to meet me. I'm an investment banker. We just came from Harvard, you know. And I realized no one read any materials what we are providing to them. I said, okay, if these people don't read it, I cannot do anything. In 2005, yeah, we also met the president, co-chair. He said, great, thank you very much. I believe day by day working is the most important. I said, okay, well, we have no options. And he said, okay, let's try to do what we can do. In 2008, we, after doing some small project like magazine Yerevan and a couple other symbolic projects, said, okay, let's do something more systemic. Let's try to go from the vision to execution, which is sometimes the most difficult part of the transition, right? You can have a great vision, but execution is one of the most difficult part of all of us, in business or in a public sector or in a government. We pick up the 6th project, which now looks like a very smart choice, but it was done by more intuitively. We said, okay, we identify with McKinsey 10 industries, which will be key drivers, 5 industries will be key drivers, and 5 industries will be important to support these changes. We identify key area of the changes in the culture side and in the economical prosperity side. we said, okay, we know where's the key drivers, and let's try to see, can we do any project here? And some of you, how many of you been in .f? Just, okay, good. You saw it, and this is an interesting story, because many people ask me a question, do you have relatives from .f? I said, no, I'm not from .f. And any of your friends said, no, we are not from .f. We are not connected with .f, anything except strategic vision. And we pick up .f for many reasons. One of the reasons was it was one of the most difficult part of Armenia to develop and say, if we can do in our .f, we can do everywhere. And it was very simple choices. The choice was, we're investing $12 million in a cable car, which was a big question for not only for local Armenians, but for international IFIs. And I'll be very frank with all of you sitting, by the way, who is from IFIs present here? Can I just see is any people from IFI, international financial institutions or any international? Okay, yesterday, nobody. I don't want to blame without maybe, but I said, we want to do best. I said, no. It's 9 villages around .f. It needs to be supported by unemployment, just give some infrastructure, renovation of these 9 villages. Don't do crazy things. What's a cable car again? And I remember we had a consultant company, and we count how many tourists was going in .f. In the 6 months' time, it was 4,000 people. Less than 4,000 people was going in .f in 2009. Okay? And they said, okay, Ruben, you're doing stupid investment. Let's buy the smallest cabin you can buy. It's 25 people seats. I said, okay, I tried because the maximum we can get 16,000 people. This is the 4 times more what you're getting today. This is what will happen with you. And we all recommend you to spend money to infrastructure of the villages, but don't do this cable car. We built the cable car, which some of you use it. Last 3 years, we got 100,000 people who paid $10 to buy the ticket to go to .f, and 50,000 people not buying tickets, they're going by car, which brings the flow of the tourists to .f 25 times more than it was before, okay? And nobody expected. This is why we said we believe in transition in a country like Armenia, which is very small, can be done in 2 ways. One way is you're trying to fix all the problem and slowly, evolutionary change the country in a better stage. The second option, you're choosing anchor projects who will really be driver of the changes. We pick up this attitude, we pick up this approach. We said, okay, if that worked and it was collegial, best by international standards, it achieved multi-effect goals, it's self-sustainable now, it's supporting also the church restoration, it's creating jobs, it's creating opportunity for other people. We got 20 hotels, restaurants, bed and breakfast open around this cable car by other people. We got souvenir shops, we got a lot of things around this because of this anchor project. Okay, we proved it can work. We went out and said, okay, can we bring, because Armenia is 98% is Armenians living in Armenia, can we bring world to Armenia? And one of the best challenges, can we bring the specialists who can come to work for Armenia? And what we found, including the diplomats, one of the problems getting best diplomats in Armenia, most of them, they choose Armenia if they're not married or they're not kids. Why? Because there are no good schools for foreigners to study in Armenia, and that's why they prefer to not come to Armenia or come without family. So, okay, we cannot attract the best professionals if we not can get really very good infrastructure. So the school is becoming important. So we choose the Dilijan, which is the second one. People said, why you choose the Dilijan? I said, not because of Mimino movie, not because of the I've been born there. It's because of the strategic map what we did with McKinsey. And this was, again, a vision which we try to implement by anchor projects. So the education, foreigners needs to study in Armenia. We need to present Armenia the way people never know about Armenia. People who never know about Armenia needs to hear about it. We pick up Dilijan. We made the school. There was a lot of criticism inside of Armenian society. We said, why are you investing? First of all, it's non-Armenian language school. It will kill Armenian language. It will be anti-Armenian. Second was, why are you investing $150 million in one school where you can rebuild 150 schools in 150 villages, and which will much better result. And I will be honest, in some ways it's a fair point, because we need to rebuild 150 schools in 150, and it's a very important job. But we said for transition, for changes, for jumping from one system to other system, you need to do something that will boost you up, otherwise you cannot change. So despite the criticism, we said we will do it anyway. How many of you have been in Dilijan? You saw the Dilijan. Okay, you saw the school, nice building. We can be proud about building, but not about building. We got kids from 75 countries today studying in Armenia. From Japan, to Chile, to Zimbabwe, from this entire region, including Turkish kids. 8 Turkish kids studying every year in Armenia for 2 classes. And this is what I said, it's critical for us. If we believe Armenia can become a regional hub for a region, we can have no options. We need to learn how to work with and how to live with people. Iranian, Turkish, Arabic, Syrian, Georgian, Palestinian. And we'll be happy if Azerbaijan kids will come and study with us. Because we need to know about one day we'll be live together again and we need to have a relationship. So I say, that for us as the Diligence School was very critical from point of the building some educational cluster, and around this we're building now much bigger infrastructure. Building is awareness about where is Armenia in the map, because most of the kids never heard about Armenia before we came to the school. The third project, we said, okay, we got 2 good projects, which one is tourism, one education. Both of them is a very important part of the developing not only Yerevan, because we are a mono-city country. We have 1.3 million people living in Yerevan, and we have an entire other population living in a very small town city. How we can balance a little bit differently? So, okay, we need to develop 4 places which will allow tourists, any other person traveling, spend less of 2.5, 3 hours maximum to go from Yerevan to this place, stay and go further, not coming back to Yerevan. But today, whoever coming in Armenia, coming to Yerevan and going back and forth, Garni Gerard, Ejmiadzin, whatever, Noravank, and coming back. No option. And people tired. We don't want to go and back the same road. So I said, okay, Altev and Goris, Stepanakert Shushi, Dilijan, Sevan, and Gyumri. This is the 4 other places we need to develop, not because we love the place, because this is allowing us having 2.5 hours drive and critical have a unique propositions which we can use for different reasons. The other problem was, we all know, Armenia has a lot of fantastic cultural heritage about the churches, monasteries. After 3 churches, you're becoming tired. You cannot see anymore. You cannot see the difference. You want to see something else, okay? You want to, that's why, again, I'm sorry to say again, I'm very highly to the Armenian church, and I believe it's very critical for us to develop values, but from point of tourism, from point of the attracting people, you cannot just show our own monasteries. So we said, let's pick up and develop in each place some additional attraction, like we had one in Tatev. Now we have a Tatev monastery, which is unique, and we have a cable car in the longest in the world, which is also creating a destination place. In Dilijan, let's have we're building now the church, our Hartzin is renovated, Goshavang is very nice, but let's build a place where we can a lot of conference, festivals happen. We said, okay, this is the third is, what we are missing is financial infrastructure. So in 2008, we bought the bank for number 22 in 22 banks. And we gave money to local people. So can local people compete against the big foreign bank? Because in the banking industry, surprisingly in Armenia, we never monopolized. It was always in competition. And we got Western banks, HSBC, Crédit Agricole, Lebanese bank, Russian banks. And 22 banks is too big for, let's be too many for Armenia. Armenia is very small. So, okay, let's see how Armenians can compete in one of the most competitive industries. Today, you all know, Ameria Bank is #1 bank, and we are very proud to see, like shareholders, how the local management did this all by just building right professional bank. And we got EBRD shareholder, we got IFC, and others supporting this bank. The 4th project, we said, okay, it's good, nice. We prove we can be competitive. We prove we can do in the most difficult regional place. We prove we can do something from bringing Armenia to the world to the Armenia. Let's try to not forget about our heritage, what we have outside of Armenia, because it's very critical. Because Armenia and the Armenian world is much bigger. We cannot just talk about our own country. We need to talk about also what is outside of Armenia. And we pick up Georgia, Tbilisi, because it's the closest for us, and also big historical heritage. And we pick up Sub Gevorg Church with my partners, my colleagues. And by the way, I want to say all this project was done by not our family. It's done by 460 donors and investors participating in this project. And I'm very proud to say it's the most successful part of it. I'm really proud. It's the people, non-Armenian, Armenian institutions, and people with different backgrounds. I love it, but they all join us and doing this together. Anyway, we did Sub Gevorg reconstruction, and we did in Moscow, building from scratch, church, school, museum, hotel, and common ground place for the meetings. Saying it needs to be a new approach when you're building something, not just religion, but it's also culture, spiritual, educational place in one place. And we looked at some project in Venice. We did in St. Lazare. In 2015, we got the gold medal for the Biennale. We used the Venice, our St. Lazare, and say, okay, let's keep our historical tradition and bring something modern art to the old island. This is why we said, let's bring and combine our history, our traditions, and our future. This always we try to make this type of the connections between the DATEV and the most modern technology from Doppelmayr Swiss company. From the ecological school, we got the best building in Europe in 2015 by ecological standards, and at the same time we keep the Armenian style in the school image. Okay, we said, okay, we have us for the fifth. Let's do how we can position, how can brand Armenia. And of course, Aurora is part of the helping us to be out of the victimization mood and become more proud to be successful and be more thinking long-term and go ahead, not past. Of course, Aurora is helping humanitarian world, which is under big crisis today. We are finding this is a very important element for not only for us, but for the entire world. And we're very proud what we did, finding some new way how we're doing this prize ceremony and prize awarding, with the money is not going just to winner, because usually what is the prize? The prize was recognition about the past success, saying thank you very much, you've been great, this is your prize. What we did, we found a way how the person get the prize, reinvesting his money backwards to creating a snowball effect and making this continuous stuff with the charity activities. Okay, Aurora has become also very important branding of Armenia, because today one of the questions, what kind of association you're getting if you're hearing names of Armenia? Genocide, Kim Kardashian, now Henrik Mkhitaryan, thanks God, Yuri Oganessian in Russia, maybe some of the scientific people say, the first Christian country. Where are in the map? We're not in the map, okay? What we are doing for Aurora is also creating the awareness of Armenians, living in the border between Shiite, Sunni, Orthodox European culture, Russian Orthodox culture. We're trying to be in the middle, we're trying to be a regional hub. So Aurora is playing a very important role also promoting the country. It's okay, we're promoting the country. We have a nice tour of the people can go around Armenia. But the problem, the roads, the problem, the guides, the problem, transportation. We cannot get accessibility to Armenia is very bad compared to Georgia. We work with the government very hardly and convince, despite all the arguments about open sky. Of course, open sky, we can argue today, is not working fully, but at least it's allowing many airlines to fly to Armenia. We continue to work hard, attract them, because it's just not enough to be open sky policy. It needs to hardly convincing them to come to Armenia and to do flights to Armenia, because we don't have a business passenger. We have only tourist passenger. It's not enough success, not enough economically supporting it. So this is why, okay, this is the picture. We got open sky, these policy changes. We got what we're doing for the world, what the world coming to Armenia, how to geographically we are trying to develop the most difficult areas, what we can do in education, what we can do in the financial industry. We also invest, and we're today running 142 projects in a different, totally we invest $550 million in 8 years' time in a different project. Like I said, a part of the project is commercial, part of it is pure charity, part of it is social impact. And this is our strongest belief. For a country like Armenia, because we are very small, we cannot have an option to go project by project, because the size of the project is very small. Attraction for the big corporations, or IFIs, or international, will be much, much easier if you can get sizable, it's scalable, if you can real holistic approach and say, you know what, this is all will link to each other. This is our one strategy, this is our vision, which allowed us to look at the country and say, we see country, and this is maybe not everybody will agree, like regional hub for the future of Armenia. And some people say, no, what? No, we want to become part of your empire. Doesn't matter if the empire name is EU or Russia, it's a part of the bigger union. Or some people say, no, what? No, we want to stay enclave. We don't want to be part of anyone, but we want to also don't be a regional hub. Because regional hub means we need to accept, but here in Armenia, in 20 years' time, 30% will non-Armenian people will live, or people going back and forth. And if today we have a very secure enclave reality where no criminal, you can work in the street without being scared. You don't have a terrorism because it's all mononational. With the hub, you can get this out of the minuses. And so, you know what, I would prefer not have a hub because we need to be more competitive. We need to do something more to be staying like we as it is. It's also fine. Let's define it and let's say what will be strategy to make the best enclave in the world that everybody will dream to live here, and how we can make self-sustainable. The vision what we have today is saying we want to see Armenian nation, people who live in Armenia, healthy, very well educated, doing creativity and science and innovations in a very modern and professional ecosystem, soft and hard. Ecosystem includes infrastructure and legislation and environment, everything, using Armenia like the country, like hub for the nation and connections between the region and the worldwide, with the keeping our national identity is one of the key competitive advantages. And because I'm a strong believer about the global concept, where you're the global citizen, with your global vision, but you have your strong local identification of who you are by your, what's happening in our school, which I love the Yerevan school. Because many schools, international schools exist in the world, and I've been in many schools. You're going in Britain, you're going in America, great country, we have 60 nationalities studying in our university. No, it's a big difference. You're coming to America, you're coming to Russia, you're coming to France, you're coming to Britain, and despite how many nationalities, you are becoming part of the new culture. You're trying to become British, you're trying to become American, you're trying to become Russian. Here, what's happening in Yerevan, you are pushed to keep your identity. You're learning how to live with other nationalities, but at the same time you're staying local. You need to be proud to be Japanese, you need to be proud to be Chilean, learning what it means to live in the same room with the person with different culture. And this is a very important difference, which I believe Armenians, who've been historically, hundreds of years, most adaptive nation in the world, who've been uniquely going around the different places around the world, doing the trade and negotiations with people they never know, with different culture, and become very adaptive to new reality, but not assimilated. And this is, I think, one of our competitive advantages today in the world, because isolation is the normal behavior of the local people who be immigrants. Assimilation is another extreme. To be adaptive but not be assimilated, I think, one of the key challenges that we can give to the world. And our vision, what we can do to the world, how we can do best, because we hate mediocrity. We said Armenia will be died by mediocrity. We want to get something which world will really be interesting to learn on us. And we're trying to make it all holistic, long-term vision. Our key challenges, Armenians don't believe about this. They are very real people. They want to touch. Until we don't touch, we not believe it. And it's part of the trust level. We are worldwide, trust is very low level. The other problem is the long term. We're talking about, we're already doing this 15 years. Can you imagine? I'm talking about here something which we're doing 15 years. And to achieve what we want to achieve, at least in the level we can talk more precise, it will take 15 years more. We're talking about 25 years of the commitment, which is unusual of current environment in the world. Everything changing. 25 years time, the telecommunication industry didn't exist, and it will be disappeared before 25 years will pass away, right? We're talking about something which really looks like unbelievable long, but at the same time it's nothing. It's a very short from point of the, it's just one generation. So we don't have a financial instruments today. Maximum 10 years bond. The only very developed countries can issue bonds of the 30 to 25 years maturity. Private equity, 10 years maximum. Venture fund, 10 years maximum. The people's commitment, 3-5 years in average working in a company. We're talking about commitment for 25 years. We're talking about the social impact measurement in 25 years. And we're talking about something which people cannot understand at all. Because in industrial society, we've been specialized in each area. We've been specialized because of the industrial requirements with request to specialize. Now we're in the 21st century, where the main driver is the creativity and knowledge. It's not specialization. It needs to be a holistic approach about everything, because everything needs to become interconnected. That's why we understand all the challenges. We understand it's a big issue for us to achieve with all what we're trying to do together with the people around us. At the same time, we're very proud of what we did it, and we're happy to share our experience. We're doing now some of the discussion and presentation what we're doing for World Bank, because the world is facing very interesting situation. Sustainable Development Program, which UN has approved, is a $4 trillion a year investment. First goal, and everybody talking about this, how we can raise $2.5 trillion, which is gap, because we have a 1.5 trillion, not 4 trillion. But nobody talk about second problem, how you can deploy $4 trillion a year in countries like Armenia, which is 40 countries like Armenia, plus 100 countries like Armenia by economic development, where there is no infrastructure, no partner, no institutions, where you need to work with the counterpartners who not have the same. Say, the second challenge which we feel is how we can really make this model, Armenian model, replicable for the world, and how we can make understanding of all this difference, what's coming in our reality, will push us in direction which we're not ready. Thank you very much. It's okay, yeah, it's fine. You want it? I don't know. You're not bored by. If you're not bored about my speech, I'm happy to answer 5 questions. If you have a question, maybe you don't have a question.
You know me, my tendency is to say we need to move on, but I don't know when we would get another opportunity like this. So if you don't mind, can we put 10 minutes to questions?
No, it's okay. I'm already too long, right?
No, I mean, we're doing this. Okay, 10 minutes, but please, just questions, and we're just going to go do it the way that Dawn did it. We'll grab 3 questions and then move on.
Yeah, 3 questions.
I see Mika. Yes, Mika back there.
Thank you very much for this presentation. To tell you,
really fast, huh?
yeah. I just want to ask, how much of your investment? We know that Armenia has a huge poverty problem, and how much of your investment trickles down, really, percentage-wise, to alleviate poverty in Armenia?
Back to Mika back there.
Hi, my name is Mikhail Zulan. I'm from here, from Yerevan. So first, just a small point. There is no public transportation, basically, from the airport to the downtown city, and I have no hope that the government will ever do anything about it. So I just want to raise that with you, hoping that you will address that. That's the only person I think who can do that. And my real question is that right now in Armenia, if you want to have a successful career, whatever the field, business, football, chess, music, most often you have to leave Armenia, spend some time abroad, then you become a successful person, then you come back or you don't. When do you think this will change? And what do we need to do to change this pattern? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Vardanyan, it's an absolute honor to meet you here, and thank you very much for all the projects that you have done and all the contribution that you brought to Armenia. So thank you very much, and I wish much success to your further efforts and initiatives. So my question, I have a very brief question. Given that the very huge importance that you attach to education, would you envision an opportunity to grant a scholarship to study in the United Kingdom, maybe a very kind of limited to a limited number of persons, and being very specific, scholarship to study at London School of Economics in Political Science? Thank you.
That's 3 questions.
Okay, 3 questions. I will go very briefly. I'm sorry, I spoke too long. No, we're not planning. We're doing 40 scholarships, but we believe it's the wrong approach, because it's not a question about which school. It's a question of what kind of specialists we needed. Because I think one of the key questions, but we are so small country, we need to concentrate our resources and not spread around everything. And it's my approach, very maybe tough. I admire everybody who is being accepted by big, best schools. The question, do we need like country or like nation with professions? We are now, I know many very bright Armenians graduating the political science. How many we need political science people for the country what we have? Maybe we need some more engineer. If it will be engineer, I will support. But by the way, just for your understanding, we're supporting 20 scholarships the last already 8 years for many, many Armenians. And we now make the announcement about special scholarship program from American University to non-Armenian people to come in Armenia. See, I don't want to support the scholarship just for scholarship. I want to support for purpose. And that's why it needs to be full picture. This is why coming about your question about transportation and about the success story. First of all, Armenia Bank, and I'm telling you, being out there is a success story which is done by local people. Pixart is a local people did very successful. Yeah, we don't have too many of them. We want to have more, but we have success stories. We are just exaggerating a little bit, and we're trying to see negative. It's much easier to talk about negative. It's not easy to be successful in Armenia at all. Yes, of course, some parts of people leave and come back. It's normal. We are living in a global world where the interconnection will grow up. Don't be worried about this. Except one thing. We need to create here an ecosystem which the best people want to come and stay here. And maybe we'll spend 2 months here, or maybe spend 3 weeks, or spend 6 months. But don't worry, because I'm living, people ask me, where are you living? I'm living 1 week in Moscow, 1 week in Armenia, 2 weeks in traveling, and it's a normal life, okay? So I think local is different. The question, what kind of ecosystem we'll have here, and how the best people can really be utilized by their experience, knowledge, and competence or not. About the transportation, again, you're right, but we're choosing the only anchor project who really changing dramatically the situation, because we have so many problems. We have a problem with toilets in the roads that people cannot go with tourists, okay? We have guides, we have 5 guides who can speak about Armenia more or less correctly in German, maybe 3 or 4 about in French, maybe 10 in English. Can you imagine we get 2 million tourists? The guide school, we don't have a normal guide school. So I say, we can go by a list of the problems that they're facing in ground transportation, in roads, in information, and many. we cannot solve the problems because first of all, we're not government. Second, there's too many problems. But we are becoming the anchor project, really. Like airport is anchor project. Without airport, we cannot talk about everything. That's why whatever Mr. Erdogan did, it was right to creating airport right service. Now, do we need to add other things? Of course, but this takes time. That's why we cannot solve. Look, infrastructure in America is horrible. I don't know how many will be. Okay, horrible. It's the richest country in the world. Very bad airports, very bad training station, very bad train. No telecommunication good. Okay, and we're doing. It's just again, airlines. I'm not talking about airlines and service in airlines. Okay, but I'm not trying negative. I'm just saying it doesn't mean it needs to be. It means it's a bad country. It's a great country with great potential. The question is how you can improve it. So yes, it's a question about the priority. Now the last question, and this is exactly where we have biggest problem. What we are talking and many with IFIs. For many IFIs. And many government institutions, many charity institutions, the dream is going from poverty to the normal life. And this is very, very noble idea. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. The problem only, you're not creating the changes. You're not creating the transition. You're not creating the opportunity to jump from third world to the first world. You're saying, you know what, I don't want to have a problem. That's why I want to stabilize your situation, mediocre. We have no chance. That's why whatever we're doing is all about decreasing the poverty. But I will tell you two numbers and I will finish. If you look at the entire McKinsey report about Armenia, more or less, we're comparable with other regional countries around in Eastern European. With the two numbers only different. One is unemployment. We have today official 18% unemployment. It will go more deeper, it will become around 25% unemployment. But you're going second number, you will become more upset. It's productivity. Our productivity today, 2.5 times lower compared to Bulgaria or Romania. Okay, 2.5 times. I'm comparing us with Bulgaria, not comparing with like usually Armenia is doing with France or America. With Bulgaria and Romania, great countries by the way. Which means if we will increase the productivity, which needs to be done, being competitive, our unemployment will go up twice more. Because you cannot keep the same model and try to improve the social situation. If you're not changing the model of the economical sustainability, you will not change opportunity to bring Armenia to be no poverty in 5 years' time. It's why the remittance is killing Armenian future. The charity is killing Armenian future. The way how it's done, because it's not creating changes. It's not creating the pressure to be changed. That's why I know many people will be disagreeing, will be very upset about me, but I'm a strong believer. The charity, remittance, international help and grants that we provide to Armenia is killing future of Armenia. It's helping to get okay life, but not giving chance to become best. That's why I'm against doing the type of the spreading around the small amount of resources. Like today, we have 5,000 teachers in schools. From 5,000 teachers or whatever numbers we have a need for much less teachers, but much higher quality. And needs to attract best students to become teacher. This is why you cannot just say, okay, let's pay teachers better salary. Let's fire the bad teachers. No. First, how we can attract the best students to become teacher, and how we can bring teacher become most prestigious profession for Armenians again, like it was hundreds of years. And only after you can make the changes. This is why I believe that you need to pick up the key problem, and only solving this problem you can show other problems. Thank you very much. Sorry to be too long.